Yes, what we're doing in Holland and what we're doing right. At least what we think we're doing right.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's start.
Yeah. Thanks for the word, and thank you also for the organizing committee to inviting me here already for the fifth time. It's always a pleasure to meet Greece and Greece people. Uh, my name is Geert Wilms. I'm from a public-private partnership of the regional government, the province of North Brabant, and a farmers organization. So it's a public-private partnership, and it's already there for 25 years. And we're working on sustainable development in agriculture in the province of North Brabant. Here I'm going to talk something about the method we use in the Netherlands, not only in our province, but in the Netherlands, and that's a triple helix model in practice. And I used 7 examples on the, say, the interface of tech and agri-food. A bit of background, not too much, because we heard it already yesterday. Economic agriculture or superpower, that's Netherlands. We have a trade balance of 28 billion euros, and it's still moving forward. A bit of background of the public-private partnership. So we have the ZLTO, the farmers organization in the south, with more than 12,000 members. That's one of the partners. And we also have the regional government, the province of North Brabant. That's another partner. And North Brabant, that's a bit smaller than Crete. So it's a different scenery there because it's smaller than Crete, but we have 2.5 million inhabitants. But we also have 5 million pigs, 25 million chickens, and 600,000 cows. So it's a very dense area. The goal of the partnership, that's more sustainable development in agriculture and agri-food in Brabant. And of course, one is the environmental issue that's more eco-efficient, and the other ones are more added value economically, but also socially. The LIB approach, that's according to a professor in Wageningen, we call it the small wins approach. And that's set ambition goals 20 years ahead, but make small steps towards that goal. And one of the main things that that's part of that method is that we support small projects that start small and that they develop to bigger things. And we support 30 projects each year. So in 25 years, we supported more than 750 projects and involvement of more than 1,000 farmers. It's also so that we have a good network. We know not everybody, we know a lot of people and organizations in Brabant because all of the innovation, they start with people on the floor, 1 or 2, and they have an idea and they want to develop that idea. And it's also necessary to do this for a long time because, say, innovations take a long time, about 10 years before they become viable, and then those are the successful ones, because there's lots not successful, of course. The triple helix model, it's always about 3 anchors of the triangle. That's the entrepreneurs, the farmers in our case, and also research and development, and the knowledge institutes, that's what we call it, and also the government is always involved. And the basis is collaboration, interaction, and also equivalency. And that's all the parties are equivalent to each other. They all have something to bring to the table. And it's always about a win-win situation. And in most of the cases, we think we don't agree, but in 80% of the cases, we agree. The farmers, the government, and the knowledge institutes. But you have to find the arguments of which we agree with each other. And there's always a win-win situation, and that's for the industry, the academia, and the government. And now the practice. 7 practical, say, examples, and these are all successful. And some started 20 years ago, and some started 2 years ago. And I have chosen different sectors and different, say, scales, smaller ones and bigger ones. One is a practice center for precision agriculture, because lots of R&D is done with precision agriculture, but the step towards practical experimenting and practical use is difficult. And here, one farmer stepped up to the plate. That's what we call it in the Netherlands. And he's a farmer, a potato farmer, and he has 750 hectares. So it's a big potato farmer. And he's now making, he developed together with Wageningen University and also a technical university, and in cooperation with ZLTO, the Farmers Organization, and Knowledge Institute, he developed this practice center. And it's now running for 5 years already. And the goal and the result is higher yield, and higher yield is there in practice already, and also less use of pesticides, minerals, and water. And in this, practice center, you see the example and the experiment and examples that work, and now it's then the case to get more farmers involved. And Jacob van der Borne, the farmer, he is communicating with his colleague, arable farmers. This is another case. This is in the dairy industry. This person, Guus van Roestel, he is a farmer and he has a doppelhoeve. He started 5 years ago with this idea, and he has now all the linkage of the dairy industry. He has it on his farm. So he has, that's in the next slide, he has the cows in the meadow, the cows in the stable, but he also has the robot that is milking the cows. Then the milk goes directly into a processing unit that's also at the farm, and it goes directly into the bottle with the milk. And now he knows in every bottle, he knows the milk from which cow it's originated. And he started with this idea because every cow has a different taste of milk. So now he's able to sell specific milk for cappuccino and also specific milk for other purposes. And he has added value because he now sells it for double the price in the shop. Another thing is robots in agriculture. That started 15, 20 years ago, and you see still development and some in practice. And here you see lots of different robots. The top on the left is, for example, an asparagus picking machine, still in development. But the down left side, that's a de-leafing robot in the greenhouses, and that started 20 years ago. And last year, they made a production of 50 robots to work in the greenhouses for de-leafing tomatoes. And normally that costs 2 persons per hectare. So that's a lot of labor that's going in there. And you see also other robots here. One is mowing the lawn, the top on the right, and is bringing the grass directly to the cows with no hands involved, no people involved. This is another one. This is a bigger one, but also started with one pig farmer 20 years ago, and now they have a sustainable pork supply chain with 250 associated pig producers. So 250 farmers, they cooperated together with wholesalers, retail organizations, and also a slaughterhouse. And now they produce and they sell 1 million pigs per year. So that's a big company, because a pig, I think it's around 200 euros per pig, so that's 200 million euros. And if you have a scale like that, you can also innovate yourself. And in 2018, they took the lead in smart farming in pig husbandry, and especially with ear tags. And now they have ear tags. Every pig has an ear tag, so they know everything about the pig. And most of the pigs, they don't get antibiotica, but some do. And if you don't know which one did or didn't, you cannot sell them as antibiotic-free. And now these are able to sell antibiotic-free pigs, and especially the market in Italy, that's the big demand there, and they pay a higher price for these pigs. This is something completely different that started 2 years ago, And here you see high tech and nature is always also not competitive, but they are cooperating together. Because mowing grass for feed, for cows, is near Natura 2000 areas is very difficult, and you have to take care of the wildlife there. For example, the hare or the deer or even bird's nest. And two guys, they invented this machine with 53 sensors, and they detect wildlife by heating sensors. And so if they detect something, the machine stops and they can take care of the problem. This is another one that's scaling up. 20 years ago, an arable farmer started this with controlled traffic farming in organic farming, and now every organic farmer in arable farmer is using this system, which started with a GPS that was then still new. Now it's not new anymore, and it's a combination of more yield and less emission of greenhouse gases. This is the last one, the vegetarian butcher. There's also an arable farmer. He started this idea in 2007, so 15 years ago, to make more added value with his plants, and especially his protein from the plants. And he was thinking, I want to become a vegetarian butcher. So that's production of plant-based meat. And he started in 2007 with this idea, and 10 years later, 2017, he had a company which had 20 million of revenue, of total turnover. And in 2018, so 1 year later, 4 years ago now, Unilever, that's a big company in the Netherlands, bought this company, and the future has to become the biggest butcher in the world, and Unilever has a turnover of about 50 billion euros, so they are thinking big numbers, and this is really very interesting and a very successful story for, one is for the market of plant-based meat, and also for this entrepreneur. And this entrepreneur is not stopping this, so he sold his company, and he's now, and that's the last slide, he's now started a new project, and that's making a cow machine. He started a new entity, those vegan cowboys, making a cow machine, and his mindset is put grass into a machine and make direct dairy and cheese of it. And he's started 2 years ago, and he said, I have 1% of being successful, and now he's 2 years further, and now he says, maybe it's already 5% or 10%, so I'm gaining. And this is two major things are important for him, except for the economic added value, but two major things is you don't use animals if you don't need it. So if there is an alternative, use an alternative. He's a farmer. He said 50 years ago we used horses and now we use tractors. So why use a cow if you can do that by a machine? And the other one is that he wants, and animal welfare is also a thing that he says, yeah, there has to be a change, especially in the Netherlands. This was my presentation. Thank you.